Okay, tonight we're going to take a look at this electrical diagnostics tool that I bought off of Amazon or somewhere like that. I'll zoom you in here a little bit and we'll take a closer look. So, a friend of mine had one of these and I watched him use it and I just thought, what a handy device. So when I was rewiring a fuse box on a 1984 Corvette that came into my life, I bought one of these. But if you look at it, if you can see in there, and I'll go ahead and power it up, the display has come loose. It may or may not have been dropped. We won't go into those details right now, but somehow in that process is when this happened. So what I want to do tonight is take this apart and see if we can get that reattached there, because this is kind of an expensive tool. So we'll go ahead and get this plugged in here. And I'm certainly not an expert of all the capabilities of this tool, so please don't take it as a review. I'm hooking it up to an extra 12-volt battery that I have here. And as you can see, as soon as I power it up, it lights up. Now you can see. Now, anyway, as I was starting to say, this is a pretty cool tool. You can use it to check voltage. You can use it to apply power through the probe tip, which is right here. This piece screws on here like so. And so then you can apply power at the tip, or you can apply ground. So when you're working on something like that with an aftermarket wiring harness in it, trying to figure out what somebody else did, it's very helpful. So this one's a P100 and the brand is Diag. And again, I know this tool is capable of a lot more than I've learned yet, but for tonight I just wanted to show you that. We'll go ahead and see if we can get it apart now, and probably try to lapse this video so you don't have to watch this boring part, especially me finding the right tip for the tool. We'll see what we can do here. May have to get a different screwdriver. This one may not fit into here, but we'll try. We'll see what we can do. Oh boy, it looks like just barely. Looks like it's just gonna do it. So there's one. Always have your magnetic tool tray handy, or magnetic screw tray to hold all these screws so that they don't get lost like that. And you'll thank yourself. Okay, maybe we could put this on double speed, or at some point. Again, watching these screws come out is probably not the most exciting part of your day, but it is interesting to just see what's on the inside, right? $60 or $70 tool. I'd hate to just throw it away because I can't read the display. I think this actually might have been a gift. My wife and kids are always saying, well, what do we get Dad for Christmas? Or what do you want for your birthday? And so sometimes I try to put things in the Amazon cart. Okay, we're real ginger. Gently pull this apart. And I got a hunch that little LED is, yeah, I got a hunch that's attached to the circuit board with a real short lead. So we got to kind of push that out as we take this apart, I hope. And I can see it in there. I don't know if you can, but I got to get that free from there. There we go. All right, I got the business end in our hands now. So another layer here, I think. We'll go ahead and pull these couple of screws off. And I got a hunch that this was probably held in with some kind of a hot glue or this little LCD display. So let's see what we find here. And if that's the case, maybe we can come up with something a little bit more permanent. Probably have to clamp it in place and wait until tomorrow to move it again, but that's all right. We just got to be gentle with this, and we should be able to pull it apart. Now, this is something you want to be careful doing what I just did there, because this can scratch the traces off the other side of this where the solder is, and you don't want that to happen. So I can see what's going on here. It looks to me like this switch is put in from this side, and you see these 3 solder points here. So this is soldered from the back side. So this is not going to come apart without desoldering these 3 pins. So before we just start heating up solder, we could take a look and see. I can see that thing around in there, and could I put it in place and just put a little glue on the back side of it, or could I put it in place and wedge a little piece of foam in there to hold it in place? Because again, we're not watching the Super Bowl on this little display. It just needs to give us some real basic information. So I'll contemplate that a little bit. I got a hunch some kind of firm foam might be what's in order to repair that without having to desolder these pins. So I'll figure that out, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so what I come up with here was just a little piece off of a sponge, right? The sponge is not much good for anything anymore anyways. So let's just see if we can make this work. I'm not sure whether it will or not, but you never know if you don't try. So we can just maybe tuck this down in here, like so. And once again, as long as it's close in there, that's all we really care about. There's not a tremendous amount of heat inside this, certainly not here. So once again, you want to be real careful not to get those traces on the underside of the display with your tool. There's also a microprocessor right there, so which is even more important. Let's power this up and see what we got. Did we get the screen centered where it belongs? Oh, you know, that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? I think I could live with that. It's not perfectly square, but I think I actually could just barely maneuver that like that. Maybe we'll come down with it just a hair. And that is really in there, and I've completely crushed that foam to the point where I think that's a permanent fix, to be honest. So we'll go ahead and put her back together. I won't bore you with the reassembly there, but I will just quickly show, you know, it's important to make sure that your display or your circuit board is reseated where it belongs, and it is. All 6 little plastic escutcheons have come through as they're supposed to, and now we'll go ahead and gently put this light where it belongs, and then I think we can put that on there and call it an evening. I won't make you watch me put the screws in, but that's not perfect, but I think that's going to be good enough for what I'm using it for. Okay guys, so I went ahead and got all the screws put back in, and there we go. When we apply power, the screen turns red, and if we apply ground, it turns green. So this little tool does a lot of what this tool does. So if you're familiar with the standard DVOM, a lot of the basic functions that this has, this also will do. And what we're going to do with this right now is leading into my next video. So I'm going to go ahead and there's some of the different things it does. What I'm going to do next is we're going to test a vintage AM radio that I purchased for my 1967 Saab as just a hole filler because I didn't have a radio in the dash. So we're going to go ahead and start a next video, but thank you for watching this one. And if you like this kind of content or cars like this, please subscribe. Thank you.